All right, yes, thank you very, very much for staying with us once again and joining us on this channel, Sports 7GH. It's always a pleasure to have you join us. Thank you very, very much. So, we are going to bring you the latest sports news related to Ghana football, related to the Ghana Black Stars, and all of them. You know that tomorrow is the 14th of October, so 12:30 a.m. Ghana time tomorrow. Ghana Black Stars will be playing versus the Mexicans. Yes, in at the United States of America. That will be 8:30 p.m. United States of America time at the Bank of America Charlotte Stadium. So we are going to bring you more details about this particular game. In fact, I don't understand something about the game. Is it the 4:30 a.m. of 14th of October, or it is the 4:30 a.m. Getting into the 15th of October? I just don't. But this we will try to find the details. Also, we talk about the African Cup of Nations 2023 draw. Ghana Black Stars find itself in a group with Egypt, Cape Verde, and then Mozambique. I'm going to talk to you more about the history between these three teams. Yes, I'm going to try my best to give you more and more history between Ghana versus Egypt, Ghana versus Cape Verde, as well as the Ghana playing the African Cup of Nations in Ivory Coast. We are going to talk about all of that in this particular video. And Coach Chris Hughton has spoken. Yes, he has spoken about the African Cup of Nations draw, as well as a couple of issues. We are going to bring you all the details and updates in this particular video. Also, don't forget that we will delve into the matches, the fixtures for Ghana Black Stars when we are talking about the African Cup of Nations. When is Ghana playing? Which teams will be Ghana playing? And the rest. Do well to subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit the notification bell, and select all so that you be the first person to get any video we post. Like this video, leave your thoughts and comments below in the comment section if you have any. It's always a pleasure to have you join us. Thank you very, very much. So the Ghana Black Stars is preparing for their international friendly games versus Mexico on the 14th of October 2023. Now, just like I was telling you, in fact, the game will be coming on at the Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte. Yes, in Charlotte in the United States of America. But you see, when exactly is it 12:30 a.m. of 14th of October, or that's for 12:30 a.m. after we've passed 14th of October and entering 15th? Now, here is Saturday, 14th October 2023. So it is the 4:30 a.m. of the 14th of October. Okay, before even Ghana, we will experience before we will experience the 14th of October itself in Ghana here. You have to watch the game before you will see 4th. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So when we are current, today is 13th of October. So we are going to sleep and then wake up in 14th of October. If you wake up at 6 a.m., you will miss the match. You have to wait until 12 a.m., 12:30 a.m., 14th of October, and then you watch the match in Ghana here. But if you are in the United States of America, I'm sure it is a very easy one for you. Just 8:30 p.m. Of 14th of October, you are going to enjoy Mexico versus the Ghana Black Stars. The Black Stars of Ghana had their 3rd training session in Charlotte as they prepare for this particular game. You see them in their black jerseys, the black training kits, and all the players trained. No injuries at camp. Every player is doing very, very well. The likes of Jordan, Mohammed, Kudus, Thomas Partey is training perfectly with his physiotherapist from Arsenal Football Club, and the whole Black Stars team are doing very well. Yesterday was their 3rd training session. I am not sure today they will train because they are going to play the game in at 12:13 Ghana time. So right now I'm sure they are resting right now. Maybe they are going for a walk, and then 8:30 p.m. In the United States time, they will be playing the game. So that is how things are. That was their final training session ahead of the game versus Mexico. They are not a tough team. They have Edson Alvarez of West Ham United. He plays with Mohammed Kudus in West Ham United. He's a Mexican, and then their key player, goalkeeper Ochoa, he is also around. He's a goalkeeper for Salernitana. He's a very, very quality goalkeeper when it comes to the Mexicans playing the World Cup. So we'll see how things go versus Mexico, but that's how the issues and the updates are. Now, let's talk about the African Cup of Nations 2023. Ghana is in the group with Egypt, Cape Verde, and then Mozambique. Now, do you know that the last time Egypt won the African Cup of Nations in the 2010, that's the 2010 African Cup of Nations, Egypt actually beat Ghana to win it 1-0. Now, 2010 African Cup, they won the 2010, but before that, they won 2008 African Cup of Nations, and that one they won it on the soil of Ghana, on the Ghanaian soil. So it tells you that indeed, when Egypt meets Ghana in the African Cup of Nations, there is some sort of history. And when you date back to the 19th, okay, Ghana also will always qualify to the finals when we meet Egypt in the group 1992 and the likes. We went all the way to the final after we met Egypt in the group. So I don't know if this one too we are going to be in the final because Egypt is in our group. Now, in 2013 African Cup of Nations, that's January 2013 African Cup of Nations, Ghana Black Stars met Cape Verde as we beat them 2-0, and we beat them 2-0 in the quarterfinals game. Yes, Mohammed Wakasu scored all the 2 goals for the Ghana Black Stars before we qualified to the semi-finals, and we were eliminated from the semi-finals and went to play the round the 4th and 3rd place. So that is Cape Verde. They are not so good. We always beat them. Now, yesterday Cape Verde actually played a friendly game versus Algeria, where they lost 5-1 to Algeria. So if Algeria is beating Cape Verde 5-1, then obviously we should do our very best to win that game versus Cape Verde in the group games we will be playing in the African Cup of Nations 2023. Now, these are the fixtures of the Black Stars when you are looking at the African Cup of Nations. January 14th, 2024, at the Stade Felix Houphouët in Abidjan, Ghana will be playing versus Cape Verde. That's January 14, 2024. That's our first game. So we just beat Cape Verde. We have 3 points. We don't care about what is happening with Egypt. Now, on Thursday, January 18, 2024, at the same stadium, Ghana will be playing versus Egypt. And so, do you know what the deal is? If we are able to beat Cape Verde, we just need maybe 1 point, at least 1 point from Egypt. And if we're able to beat Egypt to get a 6 points, we've qualified from the group, and that will be a very good one. But in the worst case scenario, Ghana should be getting 1 point from Egypt. Now, on Monday, January 22nd, 2024, at the Stade Ebimpe Stadium in Abidjan. So Ghana Black Stars will be basing in Abidjan for their group games. That is what you should know. The capital of what? Ivory Coast, Abidjan. That is where the Ghana Black Stars will be basing. So on the January 22nd, 2024, Ghana Black Stars will be playing versus Mozambique in the last group game over there. So 3 quality games. Will Ghana qualify from the African Cup of Nations group stage? Let me know all of that in the comment section of this video. But it looks like for me that Ghana should be able to qualify. But then our last encounter is what makes Ghana, what makes it difficult for anybody to speak positive things about Ghana, because we should have qualified from our group, from our last encounter versus Gabon, Comoros, and then Morocco. But then we were last in the group. Even though there was a Comoros in our group, we couldn't win 1 game in the group. So this one, it's a very fairly manageable group. But then, because of our last encounter in 2021 African Cup of Nations, that's why everybody is scared. Now, the last time the Black Stars of Ghana played an African Cup of Nations hosted by Cote d'Ivoire, the Black Stars were placed in Group B, just like we were placed this time. Now, according to Sadiq Adams, let me give him the very full credit, it however turned out the most disappointing African Cup of Nations Now, the Black Stars paraded some of the most notable names in our football, but suffered a group stage elimination. So the last time the Black Stars played in the African Cup of Nations, that was hosted by Ivory Coast, we were eliminated in the group stage. That's the first thing. Two, we were also placed in Group B. That's the second. And this time, we are also placed in Group B. So will we be eliminated in the group stages? That is the next question. Now, losing our first two games to Nigeria and Algeria. This time, our first two games is versus Cape Verde and then Egypt. Cape Verde and Egypt. Now, the criticism of the team included the fact that that most of the players selected for this tournament were left-footed. In a particular game, for instance, nearly all the offensive players were left-footed. The tournament was dubbed the Bouaké disaster. In your shot is a group picture for the opening match against Nigeria, played on 5th March 1984. Ghana 1, Nigeria 2. So that's the 1984 African Cup of Nations. Now, he says that the tournament was dubbed the Bouaké disaster. So we were based in Bouaké in Ivory Coast. This time we are not. I don't know if Bouaké is the same as Abidjan, but I'm not so sure that's the situation. But we are based in Abidjan instead of Bouaké. So maybe there will be no disaster, or will we have another Abidjan disaster at the 2023 African Cup of Nations? We live to see, but I'm not sure that's how the situation is going to be. Coach Chris Hughton has been speaking about the Black Stars and the African Cup of Nations. He says that he's not under pressure to do better than the last African Cup of Nations. I've already told you what happened at our last African Cup of Nations. The Black Stars coach is saying he's not under pressure to do better than that. He also said that Mozambique and Cape Verde, two teams I don't know so much about. That is the Black Stars coach Chris Hughton. He says he doesn't really know about those teams, but then he knows Egypt. He knows they are very top side in Africa. He's watched them recently. But for Mozambique and Cape Verde, he doesn't really know them, because look, Mozambique themselves, this is their 5th time qualifying for the African Cup of Nations. If not for this African Cup of Nations, they've only qualified for 4 times. This one adds up to 5. So that's the reason why Coach Chris Hughton will not know them. Same Cape Verde too. They've not been present so many times. So that's how things are. But we will see how things go. Black Stars coach preparing his team for the game versus Mexico, as well as speaking on the African Cup of Nations draw. Thank you very much for staying with me on this channel, Sports 7GH. Do well to subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit the notification bell and select, or leave your thoughts and comments below in the comment section if you have any. It's always a pleasure to have you join us. I'll see you in the next update. Bye bye.